And so I'd like to take some questions. If you need me to point out anything specifically, please just ask whatever is in your heart.
In your biography, you mentioned that you worked a lot on disruptive innovation. Could you clarify what you mean by disruptive in that sense?
Okay, sure. So, you know, of course, there's a lot of catchphrases these days that we all need to be a little bit leery of, right? Because they have become sort of the mainstays or the staples of people that try to define or describe something that is on social media. You see, I would think that entrepreneurship, innovation, disruptive innovation are probably the most popular words that would fall into, let's say, the startup category. Disruptive innovation is truthfully not what most people think it is, right? So again, like the telephone game, it's sort of manifested into something that it's not. See, anytime that you can be innovative and sort of disrupt the mainstay or the mainstream of the area that you are trying to innovate in, then you have created a very simplified disruptive innovation. As an example, anytime that you look at any business and you're looking at a business that you would want to be part of, and if you were in business, there's only two philosophies that I have about looking at a business. Either there's only two things that can happen. Either they become your partner or they become your competition. That's the only two things that can happen. So if you decide that you want them to become your competition, you basically try to create something that is innovative that will disrupt them, right? Because the purpose of being in business is to try to actually gain business, you know, the right way. And disruptive innovation could be, I mean, you know, to show you how crazy the thing changed is that Steve Jobs was a disruptive innovator. Why? Because he innovated, he innovated technology that absolutely disrupted the mainstream. And if anybody will tell you, there was a time in the 80s and early 90s that the mainstream was truly Microsoft, right? It was all about Microsoft. It was, nobody had an iPhone. And so everything that Steve Jobs did was basically innovative and it was disruptive. And that's why he died a very wealthy man. He also failed at a lot of ventures, right? Let's not make any mistakes. Steve Jobs failed at a lot of ventures, which is why he was truly an innovator and a true entrepreneur. But Steve Jobs made his company not by copying what Microsoft did. Steve Jobs actually created his own legacy by disrupting what Microsoft did. Does that make any sense to you?
Yes, thank you.
More questions? I actually have one. So in your biography, you've done so much, and there's things that we're worried about with our website, as we are all full-time students and involved in a lot of other things as well. But like I was saying, your resume seems to be very full. How do you manage your time and time management with having all of these different things to do?
Well, I mean, pretty good question, right? First of all, I was actually born an insomniac, right? And so, and I'm not like proud to say I'm an insomniac. It's just a matter of fact. I sleep about 2 hours a night. And I've been doing that ever since I was your age, probably younger than you. So it's not something that just happened to me. It's something I was born with. I have what I believe is a mind that sometimes I wish I could shut off, but I can't. So I ended up obviously in the greatest profession in the world, in international business, where the only constraints for most people are time, right? Because of time zones. But if you're an insomniac and you could actually get, you could communicate to people all day and night, there's certainly an advantage. Now, with that said, I don't expect everybody to be an insomniac. I do expect people to actually be real smart about how they prioritize their time. And I think that your question's a great question, but I think it actually revolves around passion and purpose rather than it does execution and management. Time management is really easy when you're passionate about what you do. Because you're so passionate about what you do, you make that your priority. And I think that is sort of the purpose that successful people always seem to have. It's not great for a lot of other things in your life, you know, like other relationships and getting things done and having fun with everybody else. But I think managing time becomes more a matter of what you feel passionate about and how the purpose of your passion actually will prioritize what is the things you want to do versus the things that you have to do. And then as you sort of progress through life and get a little bit older, you'll start to recognize the fact that if you want to get something done, you need to actually kind of, you know, the old saying, put your, you know, the nose to the grindstone, and you almost have to block out all the noise and block out everything else that's going on in your life. And it's really hard to do when you're in high school and even in college. Really hard to do. I wouldn't even suggest that it's something you should even try to do. I really don't. I really think you should enjoy your time, what you're doing. But if you find something that you're passionate about, if you find something that just makes you inside feel that this is what I really want to do, and then everything else is becoming noise to you, then I think your heart will actually select what your brain needs to do next.